all the council has a request for you.
All right.
We got money for you,
We're gonna
Tase
need at least
Thomas.
6 of them, okay?
Yeah, if you'll Tase Thomas, we got a pool going.
They only
Oh,
got-
yeah.
I know, that's right.
Okay, just your
What
information is
what
top,
you want, you
and then you wanna change coverage to dental, whichever one
Well, I
you
know it's
want.
not a teaser, not here.
And
There's two
um,
things on there for sure.
Thank
We
you,
think we
sign
need-
date,
we think we need.
and that's all the prices on the two
Okay.
plans,
Okay.
which you definitely
Oh,
want.
okay.
That's the one I gave you information on, option 6, that's the one that has orthodontia and all the endodontics and all that stuff on it.
Shit, that is. I told you the other day.
Oh my gosh. Well, you gotta stand there.
We could use the exercise, huh? Oh my gosh, we have no camera person tonight.
It's a work session.
Well, they're always here somewhere.
No, no.
Never mind. It's Radcliffe.
You
that
think
has
you're at
the
Radcliffe.
camera. Right.
You think you're Mayor Radcliffe now. Thomas, you're missing this.
Yes, Radcliffe. Yes, 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 yes.
You want to act like that?
Oh my gosh.
I think that's a no.
You're in rare form tonight, Marty, Marty.
No shields, no guns, no tasers, and no hats.
It's kind of a package deal.
Of course, at Radcliffe, they got openings, so they got those extra. I'll tell you. Mark,
I heard something about this.
they get extra quick.
I had the pleasure of having dinner with your wife the other night
Where were you guys at?
at Country Club for the Hills together.
She said there was a big group.
Big crowd,
They won money.
all women.
They won money.
Well, the only man there was Mr. Bohannon, and he wanted money for helping him. I thought the concert presentation was awesome. Yeah.
They got my No, I'm too busy.
Okay, everybody here.
Yeah. Chips ready to pray.
Charlotte's talking, Chip's ready, gonna pray.
That's right.
Okay, you guys ready? Okay, ready? Okay, Mr. Schiff, would you like to bring our invitation, please?
Let's have a word of prayer, please. Well, Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the day today and for all the opportunities that came along with the sunshine this morning and the rain this afternoon. So we appreciate these individuals that have gathered here tonight to conduct this meeting. We appreciate the crowd that we have that got out and weathered the cool breezes and the wet weather. We'll ask that you help us as we meet tonight. Help us as always to do things we can to make Elizabethtown a better place to live and to work and to play. Thank you for so many blessings that you bestow upon us. All the things that we have that are worth having, we know come from you and from your blessings and with your grace, and we appreciate those things. As always, we ask for your blessing and your continued prayers for our first responders, for our men in uniform, and for all the employees of Elizabethtown that go about their business each and every day in making town a better place for all of us to live and to work. So we just ask that you be with us and keep us safe until we come together again, and we ask all these things in your loving and powerful name.
Amen. And join us in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mary, you want to talk about alcohol?
You'll drink to that, okay. Next Monday at our council meeting, we'll be presenting an ordinance with some changes to it. I wanted to go over a few of those changes with you. Currently, we have 3 separate ordinances that regulate our alcohol. One was passed in 2001 when the voters allowed alcohol to be sold at the golf course in the Pine Valley precinct. The second one was adopted in 2002 when the voters voted to allow limited restaurants. And then the third ordinance was established in 2011 when the voters allowed package stores and the other stuff that went along with that. And since we've had the change in January because of the change in our to a home rule classification, we've been looking at our ordinances, and all 3 of them are basically the same as far as regulatory fees, hours of service. You know, they're all have the same language. So we're going to repeal all 3 of those and create one ordinance that covers everything with all the different license type. So that's one of the purposes for this ordinance. We'll also be adding some licenses that we are not currently in our ordinances that we can issue license for, such as microbreweries, distilleries, wholesalers, distributors. We can issue license for those. Currently, we do not have any of those in our city, but who knows what the future holds, and we'll be prepared. We'll also be updating our section on our training requirements, and we'll be adding a section on malt beverage keg registration. One of our local package stores has approached us and asked us if we would do this. It's where if you purchase a malt beverage keg, it would be registered. The purchaser would fill out a form with their name, address, those type of things. They will have to give a copy of their driver's license, and that keg will have a number on it. So that way, if it goes out and there's an issue with it, we can check back and find out who sold that keg and then find out who purchased it. So
All those field parties.
there goes all those field parties. So we'll have a draft to you all Friday in your packets for you to review, and if you have any questions, just let us know.
Now, the keg is registered, or the tap is registered?
The keg is registered.
Okay.
We'll probably, we're still looking into all the details. We've talked to the city of Danville does this. The city actually purchases a tag with a number on it. And that tag is, when you purchase a keg, that tag will be put on the keg. And then the tag has to be on the keg when it comes back.
So they return the keg.
Yes.
Just like.
Mhm. So it will be returned. We just, that way, if there is something happens, then the police department okay, this number was on the tag. This business has that number, then that we can go to the business. They should have a
They should
form.
register
Who
who
purchased,
rented it or took it out.
who purchased the keg, and then that way we can. But hopefully this is just a step that we won't need. And
Mary, you mentioned 3 things, and I forgot, or I didn't get the third one, that we're gonna do something with microbreweries, distillers, and
wholesalers
wholesaler.
and just distributors, malt-based beverage
Okay,
distributors.
So it's basically just a summary and an update
Mhm.
of our rules.
Yep, so because we had a few changes in the law, so we need to update our
Mhm.
ordinance. So you'll have all of that. You'll have the whole packet, the whole proposed ordinance in your packet on Friday.
Any other
You've been
questions?
busy since you become ABC.
She has,
commissioner.
yes, she has. Mhm.
A little bit.
She's always.
Well, I know that, but I mean, really, as ABC.
You go in disguise, Mary, when you go in these later places?
So far, I haven't had to go in those.
That's why we was talking about badgers.
Badges.
She's never had to pay for a meal.
Really used to make all kind of
That's right.
inspections.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mary.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go from alcohol to drainage,
There you go.
basins.
This item goes back to, design work that was being done by the state on North Mile Street. And it goes back several years because, Mayor Wellman was in office when the state had at least one public meeting concerning this, and part of what was pointed out by residents in the North Mile Street area, especially their residential estates, was that there were drainage problems as far as the ditch lines that came from the area of North Mile Street. So we asked, the city asked the state to take those problems, look at those, the whole drainage areas that were extending from the North Mile Street right of way, and to consider the effects that the additional pavement and the current drainage was having on the downstream ditches. And they agreed to do that, and they actually redesigned some ditches, put in some additional pipe, and particularly they built some detention basins along the right of way. There's 3 detention basins that they created there. And it was, we never signed any agreement with the state, but it was our indication to them that if they would include those basins in their project and build those as part of the North Miles widening, and this is in the section going from Hill Orchard Road, French Street intersection, going on north to Great Road, but that if they would build those in, then the city would assume the maintenance of those once they built them. Of course, they had to buy either additional right-of-way or easements to have the area to do those basins. So, you know, the project stretched out over some time, but they did complete the project with the 3 basins, as I said. The way they obtained the rights to build those basins, they did it by easement. So they have now, the highway department that is, have turned over, reached the point where they say, okay, we've built them, we're ready to turn it over to the city. So we have that letter from them saying, here's your basins that you requested. And so what we said is, well, we don't have an easement with the property owners. You purchased the easements. Tell us what you have and if you made any agreements with the property owners, such as, which has come up to be a particular issue, was there any agreement about mowing the basins? So they said no. Only thing we did was we agreed that the basins would be maintained as far as the structure of the basin. There wasn't any agreement about mowing. So in order to adequately and properly maintain these basins, if the city is going to take over, we feel like we need to have agreements with the property owners concerning access to them, because again, they're built along the right of way without necessarily having any designated access to them other than going off the bank over into the basin. And there will be things that we will have to do to make sure that they're working properly, as far as making sure that there isn't any erosion and that the drainage is, the water's leaving the basin and not creating erosion or standing there to make it difficult to mow, for instance. So there's a few little problems like that that have to be addressed. So we feel like we need agreements also with the property owners for proper access and being able to get in there and do the things that we need to do. And also to make sure that they are mowed properly, because at least parts of the basin would be difficult just for a typical homeowner to mow with regular mowing equipment. So what we're proposing and what we want you all to be aware of is that we have easement agreements with the property owners for access and for the city to come in and actually mow the basins and take care of everything that needs to be done. Now, obviously that is an additional amount of work, but I think it fits very well with our long-range plan for regional basins, where the city's going to be responsible for making sure that those are maintained. We're going to be talking with you probably in the next month or so about the subdivision level basins that we already have and any that would be created in the future. If you recall, a couple of years ago, or maybe about 18 months ago, Ernie Burkhead was here talking about a basin that they have down there in their development in the Nicholas Ridge subdivision. So we haven't quite created the total policy that we'd like to have there, but it's something that now that we have the policies of getting these basins constructed, whether or not they're regional basins or in this case on North Mile Street, kind of a special situation where the state has built these for us, and they're not exactly regional basins, but they serve more area or areas than just a subdivision. Of course, then you have subdivision basins that developers might do. So in order to bring all these policies together so that we make sure that the basins are maintained the way that they should be, in the long run, the city's going to have to be involved in making sure that at least have the basic requirements taken care of. And so we really think in this case on these basins along North Mile Street, even though the title is still privately held, that in order for the city to adequately maintain them, we need to have easements agreements with the property owners to say, yes, we will come in and mow as part of our routine maintenance. Now, it doesn't prevent them from mowing around if they want to, but as I said, some of them are a little bit difficult for just a normal lawnmower to do. So that's what I wanted to bring to you. Once we have the final agreements, we'll show you what we have there and get your approvals on those. But that's what we're working.
Charlie, did the three property owners, when they gave those easements, did they know that the maintenance was eventually going to be turned over to the city?
I don't know that they were told that at the time. I don't recall in the actual easements with the state, I don't think that it says that, so probably not. But I would say that some of them had the understanding maybe that the state was going to be mowing the basin, and the state never intended that, and it does not say that in there. It says that the state will do the maintenance of the facility.
We agreed to that up front. The city did. I remember that.
Who's been taking care of them now, Charlie, on North Miles?
One of the
Homeowners.
basins, the city has mowed some, at least one time. Well, I'll say two of them. Otherwise, the property owners are taking care of them.
Well, I mean, they look pretty good. All of them are.
But they also, I can tell you, need a little bit of remedial work in them too, against the erosion, against at least one where the bottom of the basin is rough. It's kind of hard to mow, and plus it's holding some water because of that. Doesn't have a nice level surface for the water to flow off. So there's some work that we need to go in and do. And as I said, we really don't have good access points to do this other than either driving off of the right of way over into these basins. So we'd like to try to negotiate a little bit better agreement with the property owners to be able to do that.
Tony, the water in those basins flow out or under? The one on Joan flows through that, valve down there. Do these three basins flow out? They don't have a valve?
They don't have a valve, they have a riser. and a
Riser.
pipe that they flow the well. They have a pipe. I don't think each one of them has a riser, but they have a pipe that they flow out.
Okay. And up to now, we haven't been responsible for going in there and cleaning that out then.
Anything else you wanna know about basins?
I'm gonna say basin one more time.
One more
Basin.
time, basins. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Well, you all know tonight at 5:30, we're gonna go for the rededication of Haycraft Park. And you all know Melissa Neffy, absolutely a lovely young lady, and she has been the coordinator of all this. But it has involved police department, fire department, public works department, parks and recreation, planning and development. Everybody's been involved. So Ed's gonna tell you, stormwater definitely, and the basin committee, I'm sure. So, but Ed's gonna give you all the details. Thomas.
I say, Ron, Charlie was very nice in his explanation of what the property owners understood about some of those basins on
I
North
figured
Plains.
that in, I wasn't gonna push him.
Yeah.
They had no expectations of them maintaining our basins. So,
Another opportunity.
in fact, we heard from one of the group's attorneys about that, so.
I can imagine.
Yeah, as the mayor pointed out, we're, 45 minutes, we're gonna have a little program down at the Haycraft Park. I guess the only thing that we didn't plan very well was the weather. So we apologize for that. There is a pavilion down there though, so hopefully we can, get under the pavilion. I think it will probably, hinder a little bit from the number from the neighbors that come out this evening. But as the mayor pointed out, Melissa in our department, through the grants administration, has coordinated the efforts down on the neighborhood park. And I just wanted to take a minute and tell you all that we didn't get to working on the neighborhood park initially, because when we started down in Haycraft, we held a series of public meetings for a number of years. We even had a committee made up of neighbors, and each year when we would look at our grant funding and come up with programs and stuff, talk to them about the needs and what they wanted to do. And when we first started working down in Haycraft, most of the folks in the neighborhood didn't want us to do anything to the park, because they didn't want it to be a place where more people would congregate, because they felt they had some issues in their neighborhood and they didn't want folks congregating at the park. So we listened, I think, to those neighbors well, and continued to talk to them, and told them at some point in time, though, the city felt we needed to make improvements down there. And I think a lot of the final decision to finally make the improvements to the neighborhood park, thank yous ought to go to three groups of folks. One, the neighbors themselves, because they have, I think, taken pride in their neighborhood. In the 10 years or so that we've been down there, you can see the difference with some of the homes and the folks that have stayed there. The second group that I think we owe a thank you to is Hardin County Habitat, because they have, in the vacant areas, they have stepped in and built the homes down there. And because of the screening process they go through and the support they give to the families, I think it truly has made it more of a neighborhood and more effort that way. The third group is one of the groups of our own, is our police department. when the effort they have made in the last couple of years of doing more of the community oriented and the outreach and getting down and walking that area and getting to know the neighbors better and know their concerns. And I mean, I don't have to deal with it the way they do firsthand, but I think there was some mistrust in the neighborhood of calling the police department. And would they come? And well, I don't want to call the police department because the person who's doing something shouldn't be doing is my cousin or my brother or some family member or something. So, but they have done a really good job, I think, of, like I said, breaking down whatever barriers were there that people are more comfortable. And I think then with the work that our office was doing down there, we felt it was time to make improvements to the park, that the neighborhood had evolved, if you will, or improved to the point. So about a year ago, if you'll remember, through our funding, through the grant program, we began a design effort. We actually had a meeting down at the park, invited all the neighbors, had sketch papers and pictures of different things, and talked to them about what they would want to see in the park. We had a number of kids come to the meeting. So, I mean, they told us the kind of playground equipment they wanted in their neighborhood. So, I mean, it truly, the playground that is down there is truly from the kids in the neighborhood, what they wanted to see and do, and what the parents told us on the age group to try to target with the playground equipment and those kind of things. We used CMW to do a basic master plan for us. They're a design firm out of Lexington that did the nature park for the city and has done some other work. So, and then took that design and turned it over to our city folks, turned it over to Robert's office, and he's got a energetic young engineer in his department, Jacob Bellwood, who then took that design and did the layout for it and made sure elevations worked. And they used their crew headed up by Steve Blocker to do all the grading of the work to get it in proper shape and those kind of things. And then, as you all know, we bid out the concrete work because there was a lot of concrete work to be done. And we bid other materials. I mean, we bid the playground equipment and the mulch and the sod, but Seth's guys down in Parks and Rec then stepped up, and I mean, they laid all the sod, they put all the mulch down, they've planted all the trees. So it really has been a effort from a lot of departments working together and coordinating with each other, and to finish things the way they've been done. I mean, Public Works has stepped in and helped us with different things on curbs and other things on the street. Like I said, there's a lot of folks in the city and all the crews and folks that have been involved in it that have really really come together. When we're down there in the next half hour, like I said, it was a good design that we started with, but it was improved, I think, by the efforts of the city crews who were involved in it. Most of the money too that has gone to pay for things has been out of the grant funding, but they're also by that grant funding, because we only get $160,000 a year from the federal government. The city, we did do some matching funds, some of our own labor and time. We don't get to charge that off to the grant. So like I said, all the other departments, I know a lot of times they look at our office and say, well, it's your grant, but I mean, it was a lot of other folks really pulling together and supporting and working in that true team effort to make sure that it happened. Melissa is down there already. Like I said, we thought,
Sundance.
well, we thought it was going to be cool. So I think she worked with the Parks and Rec guys and we were going to have hot chocolate. I don't think we realized it was going to be cool and rainy too. So the hot chocolate may taste especially good once you get down there. I will tell you, there was one thing we were going to do. If it's not too bad, you get to walk around and see the sign. In addition to the sign that is up there that has about the neighborhood park and the rules, we had two other, I don't know, they're foot high and 3 foot long strips made. Our hope was that we were going to have neighborhood kids down there and we were going to let them put handprints and sign their name. And so again, they would take a little more ownership into the park and stuff. I think we've decided that if we're all huddled under the pavilion, it's probably not a good place to have people under the pavilion and have kids with paint on their hands all in the same small combined space. So I think we'll do the handprints after school one day next week when the weather's nicer and stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, would wish the weather wasn't the way it is, but hopefully you all will join us down there this evening. Like I said, it won't be very long and it'll probably be shorter because it's in the rain, but we are proud of, like I said, the effort that Melissa put forth in coordinating and working with all the other departments. And like I said, and really thankful to all those other departments and their crews to have everything come together. So like I said, we hope you all can take a few minutes and be down there this evening. I think the mayor and Melissa may make some comments down there too, thanking people, but I wanted to kind of let you all know before we got down there. So
Thanks, Ed.
thanks.
I appreciate it. Today, Charlie and I went to the ribbon cutting of the new county government building. Wow. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't been, it's really nice, really, really nice. The only thing I would say is Harry's office is phenomenal. However, the view from my office is better than the view from Harry's office. But man, the building is, oh my gosh. And have you been there in the sheriff's office? And wow, it's really great. I'm really happy for them. And speaking of basins, we want to wish Robert a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Robert.
Stormwater.
Yeah,
Is your birthday today or tomorrow?
today.
Well,
Yeah.
Cindy's is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cindy, do you want us to sing?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Down there. We're gonna sing down there.
You all have anything?
Mayor, I just want to say something to Ed about what has been done down in that Haycraft area. I wish the citizens of Elizabethtown, particularly the old timers, and I put myself into that category, and Bobby will know this, maybe Terry,
You know,
But-
road time.
there was a time,
Oh,
and I
my
delivered papers over 50 years ago in that neighborhood. There was a time when most citizens in Elizabethtown would not have gone near that area unless they wanted to purchase, and I'll leave it at that. They wouldn't have gone down there. And if you had ever gone down there, and in the back of your mind, I'm talking to citizens that have been here a long time, can visualize what that area was like, you would not believe when you go through that area now. That probably is the biggest transformation that I have seen take part in, change in this city. And I say that with all sincerity. I know we've grown out, but Ed, I can remember 10 years ago when you said we're going to start, and I thought that'll never, and that's not a discredit to anybody down there, but that place was almost beyond repair.
Well, and Ron, when we started down there, I remember meeting with some of the residents initially in some of those first meetings. And I told them, I said, you're going to have to be patient with us. You're going to have to give us some time. And as I talked about, the effort the police department has really done in breaking down the barriers. That even though it's not that far from the center of town, it's not that far from City Hall. Some of those folks, looked at me and said, no, you're not. I mean,
No.
you're gonna be here and you're gonna do something for a while and then you're gonna go away and you're really not gonna fix things. And I kept telling them, if you'll just be patient with us. You know, we don't have a lot of money to get things started, but we do have a plan. And we've got, you know, the mayor and the council who are committed to let us work in this neighborhood. And if you'll stay with us, we can make a difference and turn things. And you're right. I mean, I wish we could have done it in 2 or 3 years, Ron, but you're right. It has taken time and we're not finished. I mean, we still have some other improvements. I mean, we're going to be bringing a project to you all next spring to do some more work on East Poplar. But I mean, you're right. I mean, we've improved the drainage system down there. We've improved their water pressure, just the streets and the walks and the bridge to Springhaven and everything. And like I said, we're not finished. I mean, there's been, you know, 20 something houses torn down and another dozen new ones built and stuff. And it's going to be an ongoing effort, but I really do. I mean, like I said, the difference, like you said, Ron, just not in the physical appearance, but I mean, in some of the attitude of the neighbors and stuff.
And
I mean,
I can name you, and I'm sure that other people, I can name you 4 people who, bless their heart, they're dead now. And when this started, they didn't believe that.
Right, right.
They would roll over in their graves with things and all that.
You know, the nice thing is there's ownership down there. Not only has Habitat built down there, but when Habitat and these other things happened, people took on pride in their own and started fixing up their own.
And
homes.
exactly.
Yeah, so-
well, and the whole thing with, I mean, I didn't mention earlier, I mean, the community garden. I mean, having those people coming out and starting to do that program and learning. And I mean, unfortunately, the community garden, no spot looks really good in the fall when it's not planted and growing well. So, but
It's
but-
worthy of a drive through.
but yeah,
though.
yeah.
Anybody, just to tell anybody just to drive through, it's amazing.
Because I went through the leadership of Elizabethtown when Pat Durbin was mayor. And the night we rode around with a young police officer and he took us down through there and showed us 2 crack houses.
Yes.
You would never know that now.
Well,
No.
and I
Well,
would
that's why
add-
I'm saying the average citizen in Elizabethtown 10 years wouldn't have gone down
Right.
there. And they have no idea what it looks like now.
I
I mean, I really.
And I would add one other person to the people that we need to thank. And Ron, I'm not an old timer like you.
I am.
But I've listened to some of them and I've
Yes, he
listened,
is.
I've listened to some of the people who were around and working in this community before I was. And they tell me, and you talking about mending fences and changing attitudes and tearing down barriers. I understand that Tony's father, Reverend B.T. Bishop, was one that really helped us get a foothold down there and really helped. So I think we owe a lot of thanks to B.T. too.
And Mike, and you're right, Terry, and Ed would agree, and so would the mayor. When this first started, a lot of them said you're promising, but they didn't want it. I mean, they didn't want you down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not. It blows me away to see that area now, and I knew what it used to look like, because literally, and the emergency services know that you wouldn't go down there. You did not go down there.
Go down there and roast the marshmallows.
Let's go down there.
All
Let us go down there.
Anything else? Okay, we're going down there.
You really-
That's where you went. I know.
You
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
That's where you went.
Um,
You did.
Larry Gerard.